Hello, catalyzers. Welcome to another bubble bath reading. I've been working recently on some pieces for my upcoming first issue of Feral magazine. And I think I'm going to be reading them before I print them. So as I write them, I guess I'm going to be doing a bubble bath reading of the pieces I want to share. So the first one is my first editorial. You are not malfunctioning. You are responding intelligently to systems that cannot hold the full range of human life. If you have built friendships outside your workplace, created art that does not fit a market category, cultivated communities that operate beyond official channels, or quietly maintain parts of yourself that institutions cannot understand, you may already be living ferally. And you are not alone. The Feral Mandate by an editorial by Tiaria Graves. Across every profession, identity, and class, people are quietly building lives that exist both within and beyond the systems that claim to contain them. This is not a rebellion, it is adaptation. Society tells a story of stability. It says that systems, economic, civic, relational, exist to organize human life into coherent patterns. Work within the structure, follow the script, build a house, align your identity with the institutions around you, and the machinery will reward you with belonging. But beneath that story lies a quieter reality. Most people do not actually live entirely inside the systems that shape them. They live alongside them. They work within institutions while quietly routing around them. They maintain careers while cultivating networks of survival that have nothing to do with their employers. They build friendships, creative communities, side channels of knowledge, and informal support structures that the official architecture of society neither sees nor understands. This is not rebellion, it is adaptation. This is ferality. Feral is not an identity. The word feral has long been used as an accusation. It implies disorder, wildness, or a failure to integrate into civilized structures. That definition is wrong. Ferality is not chaos. Ferality is autonomy, after recognizing that systems cannot fully hold the complexity of human life. A feral person is not defined by class, identity, or ideology. Ferals exist in every social layer. They are artists, accountants, engineers and organizers, bureaucrats and dissidents. They may design institutions during the day and quietly build parallel worlds at night. Ferality is not who someone is. It is how someone navigates systems that were never built for the full range of human experience. Ferality is not the opposite of civilization. It is what people build when civilization becomes too narrow to live inside. The architecture of conditional belonging. Gonna slip down just a little. Most modern structures, economic systems, bureaucracies, even cultural norms operate through a subtle threat. Access to stability is conditional. Lose the job and housing becomes uncertain. Lose the institution and legitimacy evaporates. Lose the relationship and identity itself may feel destabilized. The background signal is simple. Remain synchronized within the structure or risk isolation. People comply because the cost of disconnection can be devastating. They maintain systems that frustrate them, work within structures that limit them, and sustain institutions that cannot fully accommodate their needs. But they also hedge. They build informal networks of care. They cultivate multiple identities across communities. They create alternative flows of information and support. These redundancies are feral behaviors. Not outside the system, alongside it. Parallel life. Ferals do not abandon institutions. They use them. They understand that modern systems are too large and too entrenched to simply step away from. Instead, ferals operate across boundaries. They hold jobs inside bureaucracies while maintaining intellectual independence. They participate in civic systems while building informal mutual aid. They remain in relationships without allowing those relationships to define the entirety of their worth. They live parallel lives. From the outside, they may appear fully domesticated, functioning citizens, professionals, partners. But beneath that surface runs a network of independent thought, distributed belonging, and self-directed meaning. Ferality is the quiet refusal to let any single system determine the limits of one's life. Most people are not fully inside the systems they depend on. They are quietly building lives themselves, is never truer. The scarcity of self. One of the most powerful mechanisms reinforcing dependence on systems is the scarcity of validated self-concept. Many cultural scripts compress the legitimacy of a person's identity into a narrow set of structures: a career, an institution, a romantic partnership. Lose the structure and the individual is left questioning their own completeness. This is particularly, I'm just checking my niption. Okay, this is particularly visible in the mythology surrounding romantic couples. A relationship becomes more than companionship. It becomes proof of worth, proof of belonging, and proof of adulthood. Without it, many people internalize the idea that they are somehow insufficient. Ferality redistributes that weight. It refuses to centralize identity in a single node. Instead, belonging spreads outward, across friendships, communities, creative work, intellectual networks, and relationships that exist without claiming total ownership of the self. The feral person is not alone. They are multiply connected. The signal. This editorial is not a manifesto. It is a signal. If you have ever felt yourself If you have ever felt yourself living two lives, one legible to institutions and another that exists in the margins of your own imagination, you are not broken. You are not alone. You are feral. And ferality is not a failure to belong. It is the beginning of autonomy. Signs you may already be operating ferally. You maintain communities that have nothing to do with your employer. Your most meaningful work often happens outside formal institutions. You rely on networks of people rather than single institutions for support. Your identity cannot be fully explained by your profession or relationship status. You instinctively build alternative pathways when systems become rigid. You feel constant tension between participation and independence. None of these are signs of failure. They are signs of adaptive intelligence. The mandate. If you recognize yourself here, this is the invitation. Look at the systems you inhabit, your workplace, your cultural circles, your creative field, your relationships, and remember that they are not the total horizon of your life. They are structures you interact with. They are not the limit of your imagination. If you are an artist whose work has been flattened into content, if you are a thinker whose curiosity has been reduced to productivity, if you are a builder whose ideas have been domesticated into marketable fragments, remember this: your mind does not belong to the system that pays you. Your imagination does not belong to the institutions that categorize you. Your life is larger than the roles you have been assigned. So build. Build friendships that are not transactions. Build communities that are not brands. Build art that does not ask permission to exist. Reconnect with the feral parts of your thinking that first imagined a different world. The systems around you will continue to function, but they are not all that exists. They never were. The system is real, but it is not the whole world, and it never has been. So that is the first piece for Feral Magazine, which I hope is going to be coming out sometime in the month of April, probably the final week of April. And I'm not sure if I'm going to continue reading my pieces before they're published, but that's just what I'm doing for now. So I hope you all get a good night's rest, and remember, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate.